Chapter 21, Bali Maharaj arrested by the Lord. This chapter describes how Lord Vishnu, desiring to advertise the glories of Bali Maharaj, arrested him for not fulfilling his promise in regard to the Lord's third step. With the second step, the Supreme Personality of Godhead reached the topmost planet of the universe, Brahmaloka, which he diminished in beauty by the effulgence of his toenails. Thus, Lord Brahma, accompanied by great sages like Marichi and the predominating deities of all the higher planets, offered humble prayers and worship to the Lord. So here it is. They washed the Lord's feet. So this is the other source of the Ganges. They washed Vamana-deva's feet and worshipped him with all paraphernalia. Riksharaj Jambavan played his bugle to vibrate the glories of the Lord. Jambavan appears in two other Leelas. Who? Ram Leela? So in Krishna Leela, Jambavan fought Krishna for how many days? 28. And afterwards, Jambavan said, wait a second. I'm the strongest guy here. There's only one other person who can fight me for 28 days. This must be my Lord Ram. So that's when Jambavan surrendered. And what did Jambavan do after this? He gave his daughter. So she was the second wife after Rukmini. He also gave Krishna something else, which, the what? Syamantaka jewel, which is why he went there in the first place. And after this, Krishna got his third wife, Satyabhama. Yes, very good that we know Krishna Leela. Excellent. Now let's continue. When Bali Maharaj was deprived of all his possessions, the demons were very angry. Although Bali Maharaj warned them not to do so, they took up weapons against Lord Vishnu, because Bali is smarter than the people he's in charge of. Bali realizes who this person is, but the other demons, they're stupid. They think, oh, we can fight. Who fought Krishna 18 times? Jarasandha. You would think he would have learned his lesson, right? But no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18 times. And who was victorious every time? Krishna. All of them were defeated, however, by Lord Vishnu's eternal associates. What are they called? The Vishnu Dutas. And Yamaraja's servants, they're called Yamadutas. Which one do you want to see at the time of death? Not Yamadutas. Yes. Actually, that's why we wear the Kuntimal. They see this. Yamaraj said, you see a devotee, you pay your obeisances. So we have the neck beads, we have tilak, right? Just in case. That's why I like to wear a bright tilak, in case they get a little confused. Hey, I'm a devotee. Hello. Hare Krishna. All of them were defeated, and in accordance with Bali Maharaj's order, they all entered the lower planets of the universe. Understanding Lord Vishnu's purpose, Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, immediately arrested Bali Maharaj with the ropes of Varuna. When Bali Maharaj was thus reduced to a helpless position, Lord Vishnu asked him for the third step of land. And because Lord Vishnu appreciated Bali Maharaj's determination and integrity, when Bali Maharaj was unable to fulfill his promise, Lord Vishnu ascertained that the place for him would be the planet Sutala, which is better than the planets of heaven. And why that is, I will explain. The heavenly planets, as we see, sometimes their enjoyment is interrupted by the demons. So they don't have uninterrupted happiness. But in this low planet of Sutala, they have uninterrupted sense gratification. So in that sense, it's material happiness, uninterrupted, unlike the heavenly planets where their happiness is, sometimes they're disturbed. Like here they are. The demigods are hiding. They can't, when you're hiding, you can't enjoy. You're not enjoying, you're hiding. Chapter 22. Bali Maharaj surrenders his life. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased by the behavior of Bali Maharaj. Thus the Lord placed him on the planet Sutala, and there, after bestowing benedictions upon him, the Lord agreed to become his doorman. Is that a benediction or what? Come on, can you imagine? Lord Vamana is your doorman, and is mentioned in the 5th canto. In the 5th canto is a description of Sutala, and there it is stated that once Ravana came to conquer, but he was met by Vamana-deva, and Vamana-deva kicked him, sent him back where he belongs, which is why I say Vamana-deva is Adi, soccer player. That's where you get soccer from. Vamana-deva kicked him. All right. Bali Maharaj was extremely truthful. Being unable to keep his promise, he was very much afraid, for he knew that one who has deviated from truthfulness is insignificant in the eyes of society. An exalted person can suffer the consequences of hellish life, but he is very much afraid of being defamed for deviation from the truth. Bali Maharaj agreed with great pleasure to accept the punishment awarded him by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bali Maharaj's dynasty, there were many asuras, or demons, who because of their enmity toward Vishnu had achieved a destination more exalted than that of many mystic yogis. In other words, they got liberation. Because when you're killed by Vishnu, you get liberation. When you're killed by Krishna, like even Kamsa went back to Godhead. Putana went back to Godhead. So getting killed, that's why my friend in Santiago, he said, Prabhu, I'm going to become a demon and I want to get killed like Krishna. I said, that doesn't work that way. You have to be this kind of demon. You're insignificant demon. No, don't think that's pride. I'm going to be a demon and Krishna's going to kill me? No. No, it doesn't work that way. Better to be devotee. Easier to be devotee. And how do you be a devotee? What? How do you do it? Yes, so let's do it. To be a demon is hard work. To be a devotee is easy. Come to Namahat, take prasad, chant Hare Krishna. It's easy. Right, Krishna Kumar? Happy what? Why do you want to know? 16th chapter Bhagavad Gita. All right? You're supposed to know this. You've studied Bhagavad Gita. That's all there. How to become demon. Or read about Hiranyakashipu. The outline is there. Why you want to know? Hare Krishna. Okay, Bali Maharaj specifically remembered the determination of Prahlad Maharaj in devotional service. Considering all these points, he decided to give his head in charity as the place for Vishnu's third step. So Prabhupada said, this is how Bali became one of the 12 Mahajans. Because Vamana-deva already took everything away, everything, and arrested him and sent him down to that planet. But Bali said, my Lord, I still have my head. You can put your... So that means Bali fully surrendered. There's a verse, examples of how a devotee achieved perfection by hearing, Parikshit, by chanting Shukadev, remembering Prahlad. So they give examples. And when it comes to Atma Nivedanam, Bali. And Meenakshi Vrajarani, who did all 9? Ambarish. Very good. Bali Maharaj also considered how great personalities give up their family relationships and material possessions to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, they sometimes even sacrifice their lives for the satisfaction of the Lord. Just like Lord Jesus, he did that. He sacrificed his life for the Lord. Accordingly, by following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, or exemplary teachers, and devotees, Bali Maharaj perceived himself successful. And while Bali Maharaj, having been arrested by the ropes of Varuna, was offering prayers to the Lord, his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj appeared there and described how the Supreme Personality of Godhead had delivered Bali Maharaj by taking his possessions in a tricky way. That's why that verse, Chalayasi. There was no other way for Vamana-deva to do it. He had to trick. So, even though it's tricky, it's trickery, still Lord Vamana-deva is glorious because there was no alternative. Because Bali Maharaj had conquered lawfully. He had lawfully done it. So the Lord had to trick him. He had no alternative. Okay. While Prahlad was present, Lord Brahma and Bali's wife Vindhyavali described the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. Actually, what happened, Brahma was speaking and Vindhyavali cut him off. She interrupted. She was so ecstatic, she interrupted Lord Brahma and spoke out of turn. Since Bali Maharaj had given everything to the Lord, they prayed for his relief. The Lord then described how a non-devotee's possession of wealth is a danger, whereas a devotee's opulence is a benediction from the Lord. So, Krishna Kumar, who gave you this house? Ah, so that's your benediction. Just like I had to wait a long time. My wife had to wait. He gave us this nice apartment. He gave her a nice job. We see it as opulence of the Lord. So the devotee sees everything, good or bad, coming from Krishna. Then, being pleased with Bali Maharaj, the Supreme Lord offered his disc to protect Bali and promised to remain with him. Wow. Krishna's disc was there to protect Bali. Okay, we have one final chapter. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra. Mukund, can you get me some water from the garage? You know what to get? Mukund? What happened to your gold top? Huh? Oh, I'm missing the gold top. You got yours. You still got yours. Where's Rohan? What happened? That's your blessing from the Lord. That's your opulence. All right, let's continue. The demigods regain the heavenly planets. This chapter describes how Bali Maharaj, along with his grandfather Prahlad, entered the planet of Sutala, and how the Supreme Personality of Godhead allowed Indra to re-enter the heavenly planet. The great soul Bali Maharaj experienced that the highest gain in life is to attain devotional service under the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet in full surrender. Being fixed in this conclusion, his heart full of ecstatic devotion and his eyes full of tears, he offered obeisances to this personality of Godhead, and then with his associates entered the planet known as Sutala. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfied the desire of Aditi and reinstalled Lord Indra. Prahlad Maharaj, being aware of Bali's release from arrest, then described the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world. Prahlad praised the Supreme Lord for creating the material world, for being equal to everyone. Is that stated somewhere else, that Krishna is equal? What book? What's that? Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Samaham sarvabhuteshu. Krishna envies no one because everybody comes from Krishna. Everyone is Krishna's child. So Krishna is equal. But if you become his devotee, naturally he becomes inclined. Just like, let's say, Batuk. Right? Batuk, you have 2 children, but you're nice to everybody, right? Others' children, you're nice. But if you show some extra attention to your children, anybody going to fault you? No, it's natural. So Krishna is equal to everyone, but if you become his devotee, you get special blessings. So should we become Krishna's devotee? And how should we do that? Do it. All right, finishing up. And for being extremely liberal to the devotees, just like a desire tree. Yes, a desire tree. You want oranges? You get oranges. You want mango? You get mango. You want pomegranate? Right? It's not that the desire tree, you determine what you want. So Krishna is like that. You want to be Krishna's devotee? Krishna will be your worshipful Lord. If you want Krishna to be your enemy, Krishna says, okay, I'll be your enemy. However way you want me, I'll reciprocate. Indeed, Prahlad said, the Lord is kind not only to his devotees, but also to the demons. In this way, he described the unlimited causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, with folded hands, he offered his respectful obeisances unto the Lord. And after circumambulating the Lord, he also entered the planet Sutala in accordance with the Lord's order. The Lord then ordered Shukracharya to describe Bali Maharaj's faults and discrepancies in executing the sacrificial ceremony. Where is Nimai Charan? Calling Nimai Charan immediately. So, listen to this. The Lord then ordered Shukracharya to describe Bali Maharaj's faults and discrepancies in executing the sacrificial ceremony. What did Shukracharya say? Go ahead. Faultless. And now you know why we say that every program and where it comes from. Shukracharya became free from fruitive actions by chanting the holy name of the Lord, and he explained how chanting can diminish all the faults of the conditioned soul. That is the most important sentence in this whole katha. I'll repeat it again. Chanting can diminish all the faults of the conditioned soul. Please always remember that. Never forget it. Let's all say, chanting can diminish all the faults of the conditioned soul. So if you have faults, don't worry. Chant. In time, all your faults will go away. Just chant, chant, chant. Don't say, can't, can't, can't. He then completed Bali Maharaj's sacrificial ceremony. All the great saintly persons accepted Vamana-deva as the benefactor of Lord Indra because he had returned Indra to his heavenly planet. They accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the maintainer of all the affairs of the universe. Again, that name, Janardhan. Everybody. Being very happy, Indra, along with his associates, placed Vamana-deva before him and re-entered the heavenly planet in their aeroplane. Having seen the wonderful activities of Lord Vishnu in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, all the demigods, saintly persons, pittas or forefathers, bhutas or ghosts. So according to Bhagavatam, there is ghosts. And siddhas, perfected celestial beings who can travel in space without vehicles, glorified the Lord again and again. This chapter concludes by saying that the most auspicious function of the conditioned soul is to chant and hear about the glorious activities of Lord Vishnu. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.